It had more exposition than Star Wars Episode 8.
That was I didn't notice the pun when they did that. Pharaoh's tomb.
Pharaoh. Yeah,
but it spelled it Pharaoh like
his name is Pharaoh.
Like the cereal grain Pharaoh, but it's like
it's
Pharaoh's tomb.
Yeah, yes, Julian, it was a pyramid.
It was the Transamerica building. Oh my gosh. My brain is exploding.
Like, think about how he even set up the inside. It looks like an Egyptian pyramid, like a tomb to the afterlife.
Forever. Oh my gosh! I just got yo.
This is definitely going at the beginning of the podcast for a clip.
I just got that.
What's going on, man? This is ENigmas.
Yeah, and this is ENigmas, and this is ENigmas Unchained. So now, story.
Spoiler alert, people. If you have not played the game all the way through, or if you give a rip about spoilers, this is where you get off the pod until you finish the game, and then you can come back because we're gonna talk about the story.
Yeah, so bookmark this part. Like if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, just stop it. You'll be able to come right back to this once you finish. So, story. How would you stack this story up to the original?
It's inferior in every possible way. Like,
yeah. So the name of this episode is Horizon Forbidden West: The Power of Friendship. There's a reason for that, okay? So this whole game is about Aloy letting people in. Now, there's some merit to that. You know what I'm saying? She was acting like a straight up trifling, self-absorbed heifer. The whole game. She was like fully self-absorbed. I should go do this thing. Get it done. Breathing with every single word. I was like, wow.
I guess I gotta get going.
Yeah.
Every conversation was awkward.
Every conversation was flat out. I mean, I felt like whoever that was in the booth did not like each other, or maybe Mrs. Birch just didn't like being there at that particular point in time because every conversation felt rushed, or it was just loads of exposition. I mean, oh my goodness, when you got the Pharaoh, oh my goodness, the Pharaoh's tomb. It had more exposition than Star Wars Episode 8.
That was I didn't notice the pun when they did that. Pharaoh's tomb.
Pharaoh. Yeah,
but it spelled it Pharaoh like
his name is Pharaoh.
Like the cereal grain Pharaoh, but it's like
it's Pharaoh's
tomb.
Yeah, yes, Julian, it was a pyramid.
It was the Transamerica building. Oh my gosh. My brain is exploding.
Like, think about how he even set up the inside. It looks like an Egyptian pyramid, like a tomb to the afterlife.
Forever. Oh my gosh! I just got yo.
This is definitely going at the beginning of the podcast for a clip.
I just got that. Oh no!
Oh my goodness! You for real? I mean, like his name was Pharaoh.
It wasn't spelled with a PH, so I overlooked it.
You hear it though. His name is Pharaoh. I
thought the cereal grain because there's an actual cereal grain.
That was the last thing I thought about.
It's like millet.
Millet doesn't have a God King attached to his name. But Pharaoh was literally like full. They even said it in the 55 minutes of exposition that Aloy does. Well, he had an obsession with being with the Egyptian culture, so he buried himself in the pyramid, or he did the reincarnation thing. I forget the name of it, but all this stuff was in a pyramid. the inside of it was like built like he was a pharaoh, where they had the tall statues, the golden inside, stuff. He was fully invested in being a full-on douchebag. I mean, I will give him props. He wasn't a very good villain, but he was definitely a very good douchebag. So, I was like, okay, this game didn't really have a villain. That's what really bothered me.
Oh, it did. It had a rapist for a villain.
Well, yeah, but she wasn't really the villain. I mean, she was like, this is the best way.
Rapists are villains. Rapists are villains.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not saying that rapists aren't villains. I'm saying but for this particular game, it was the 11th hour. Like we were like, okay, we know that this other guy, the bald-headed guy that was heading on the Farzina, right? And he walked through the door and he's dead. I was like, wait.
That's right.
Who called this executive decision?
Carrie-Anne Moss's character just like she put work in on him.
He did. I mean, he walked through the door. I'm thinking like
she threw him through the door and then shot him in the back.
And shot him in the back. No, so, but like the other guy, the military guy, the guy that said like,
Eric?
Eric was like, to me, I was like, this feels like a boss fight. Like that sucker was not easy to kill. I was like, okay, I gotta strategically move around this set because he is throwing orbs of energy, able to absorb my attacks. I'm like, okay, I'm shooting acid at this sucker. I'm like, acid was the only thing that worked on my side. I was like, acid this dude down, knock his shields down, and then put in the work. But then you go past that, and it was like, like it's the final fight. I was like, this is it.
We need destruction. I feel like we need destruction in story stuff because, like, anyone listening to this is going to feel like we're just going to be inside joke after inside joke.
All right, yeah, okay. So the story is about Aloy is going to the Forbidden West because there's this sickness, although the world is dying, and they have to reestablish Gaia to get the world pretty much into terraform mode to stop it. So there is no Gaia because the other one is gone. So they have to find a Gaia, like a Gaia protocol, at least Gaia seed for the most part. So then that opens up the can of worms where when they find Gaia, this is like a quick bridge. They find Gaia. Gaia's like, yeah, you need these other AIs to fully awaken my power. And you're like, okay, bet. So then you go through like a MacGuffin situation where you're like, I just gotta find like 4 MacGuffins to be able to activate Gaia, and then Gaia gets stolen. You're like, all right, okay. So then she becomes a MacGuffin again. So you have to go find her, and then Hephaestus, and you're like, okay, I'm getting Hephaestus. Then a certain person passed away, which we'll get in that in a moment. That was found out worthless in this game, the way he died. But yeah, so that happens, and then you still don't got Gaia in them back, so you have to go to the end, and for some reason you just have control to make as many dinosaur robots as you quite possibly want to because of a clone of Aloy named Beta being around the situation, and she won over herself, self-absorbed. It's just as bad as Loki falling in love with himself in Loki. Yeah, like just the idea of that just bothered me. I was like, so you have to talk yourself down. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so they have an all-out war against the Farzina people who are like apparently people who left Earth and colonized a whole nother planet and then pretty much went ham there and had something destroying, and they had to come back to try and take the stuff from here. So they come back and floating, and they can fly. They got these amazing shields, and apparently they're their original selves from 1,000 or whatever years ago. Like so they didn't even age, which that wasn't really clearly explained. Did I miss something? Because isn't that what Pharaoh wanted? Was to be able to live forever in that particular sense. I'm like, they had tech.
He did, and it didn't. His version of the immortality didn't work, and theirs did.
Yeah, he turned into into a can of meat sauce. You guys can jump in, man.
It's just they just like when we last left off in Zero Dawn, we were set up to where like was it Hades? Hades had
Yeah, Hades was a villain.
Hades was the Hades AI that was part of Gaia's programming, whose job it is to reset the world. That's what Hades is for.
Yep.
He was a clear villain, and then we had sort of an anti-hero character that was also kind of villainous, Silence, that was partnered with Aloy and at times, but it seemed like he had his own agenda, which he ultimately did.
Oh, he's more an anti-hero.
Yeah, more anti-hero. The actor who plays him, Mr. Riddick, he tends to play diabolical characters. And so Silence seemed to be sliding in that direction as we're moving into Forbidden West.
Yeah.
But it's just like Horizon Zero Dawn gave you a clear trajectory for where the story could go. And then when we come into this one, we start introducing immortals. Mm-hmm. We start really kind of pandering and not consistently or not always adding in like gender politics and stuff like that into the game, because I've like there's nothing wrong at all with having folks that have different sexual identities or different bodily experiences and trying to put their stories in a unique way that shows, you know, full human uniqueness and stuff like that. And I feel like in this game they used all that stuff as plot devices instead of giving characters full dignity. They just threw them in just to throw them in, which I didn't understand that. And then the way that they just the way that they
stuffed that best stuff they can. They were like, look.
And then they misused major characters. You know what I'm saying? Like you only really got to know your friends through like their one or two side missions that they each had. The conversations with them were labored and limited.
Yes.
Aloy would sigh as if it's like she's talking. It's like she's cold calling people for internet sales. It's like she doesn't want to talk to them.
This is Aloy. I just want to let you know that they have high-speed internet. That's how I felt the whole time playing. It felt like that. It felt
like she had the headset hang up button in one hand and a cigarette in the other. Like with every. And so just like her attitude sucked, and it's just like what happened to the good story? Like, why are we introducing immortals, especially rapist immortals? Like I like, why is Elizabeth Sobek suddenly bisexual? Like
bisexual?
Bisexual again? Because they
no.
She just straight gay. Is that what? Yes. I couldn't figure out what was I couldn't figure out what was going on. I do know that Carrie-Anne Moss's character, because she also outside of the Matrix, she plays diabolical characters.
Yeah.
And they telegraphed her diabolicalness in this, but I didn't expect her to turn out to be a rapist, a 1,000-year-old rapist. You know, like I didn't expect. I was like, it's the
like she dreamed about this for 1,000
years. So
I will not make this mistake again.
Move on. Talk about not being over somebody.
So
once you have so bad, once you have so bad, you don't go back.
So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Our main ally / antagonist for this game is a 1,000-year-old being who knew about the Zero Dawn project and was apparently a lover of Elizabeth Sobek. 1,000
apparently
years
had a thing for Stockholm syndrome victims.
Yes, like, and you know, and also a stalker, and tried to pretend like she didn't know her and all that other stuff. All the crazy. Yes. But apparently Elizabeth, between her charisma and her innovative genius and whatever poom poom, I just like, was the poom poom so good that for 1,000 years, that's all you can think about.
Well, remember, you know, Pharaoh had the same issue. You know,
Pharaoh was trying to get that too. And that's all you can think about for 1,000 years.
What did Elizabeth do? Okay.
Was she wearing oud? Was she wearing Axe body spray? Like, what in the world was going on?
She probably had love potion. You know, I don't know.
Was it Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor? Like, what was she wearing that had these people fainting? Like, they were fiend out for a millennia. I've just got to have a romantic entanglement, and I do mean entanglement with with this woman. Like, everybody wants to have sex with Elizabeth Sobek, and I could not wrap my mind around that. You know, like, why is the game about this? Why is the end of the world about, like, it turns out that Pharaoh ended the world, because he wanted to have sex with Elizabeth Sobeck, and she said no.
She said no.
And so he just let his machines run wild and in the world. What the hell?
You know what? You know who that sounds like to me? Eren Yeager.
Attack on Titan. It's like,
sounds just like his behind. Oh, well, Eren, I love you like family. A day later, he's walking out of a meeting like, I'm killing everybody in this. Killing everybody. Cut off his own leg and took out his own eye the next few days after that chick told him that he was family. And that's it's because he was enlightened. No, he got rejected, and he was like, nah, forget this planet, forget this world. Poor the Pharaoh.
So Pharaoh got turned down. His sexual advances got turned down. So then he let his planet-killing machines run rampant on the surface of the earth. And so then we had to have the atheist resurrection to fix the problem that this man who got spurned. I don't know what. Yeah. That's what ends the world.
In my opinion, I think it was just the money.
He pulled a Captain China from Thundercats. I did it for the money. I did it for the money and the money alone. I didn't do it for anything.
Well, I think Ted Pharaoh, is kind of one of my favorite villains because, they captured that capitalist mentality for endless pursuit of riches pretty well. And can you imagine a guy like that living 1,000 years? Right. But I could tell you, Tilda is, I think, a pretty well thought out villain, and I do consider her main villain of Forbidden West.
Did you get that at the very end, or did you get that before?
Well, I cheated. I watched the little I watched the little actor previews, and so she was describing her character, how she loves to play manipulative personas in movies and stuff and games. And so going into that, I was always waiting for her to show up and be like, and so, you could tell that she was trying to manipulate Aloy into her little scheme. But when her charm didn't win over, she resorted to kidnapping and hoping the Stockholm syndrome would take over and Aloy would eventually come around. But it's that dastardly, backhand playing everybody. Yeah. Kind of like our enemy, the Satan. Yeah. He's not, outright killing you, but he's gonna tempt you into doing what he wants, and then so you die out of your own selfishness and pride.
That's a fair take.
That's a fair take right there.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, I just know that if it had been a man that had pointed a weapon at Aloy's head and said, "Stop struggling, just give it up," with that kind of
PlayStation would be in ashes right now.
Because that language, by any modern feminist definition, is rape. Yeah. That's some rape language there.
Yeah.
And then you find out that
I think they're doing society a favor by pointing out that it's not only men who do that.
That's fair. That is both laughable and fair. I like that. Because women do rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not something that's talked about.
That's true.
I do want to talk about our homeboy.
See, so I was trying
to put it off too.
I flat out was really trying to not talk about this just yet. But
what a miss! I'll just do it from the end point. From a post game perspective, can you imagine him and Zoe walking into Nora Village hand in hand carrying the little boy? Instead, they make Zoe a single black mother in the post-apocalypse.
Post-apocalypse, and then big up it for the most part. The Vol was the most committed character and the most connected character in the game.
He made the team.
He made the team, right? He was the one who was like, "Yo, why don't I go and get Eren?" You know what I'm saying? And we figure this out together as a team. And she's like, "Oh, well, I don't know if I need to do that." She's it's like her. I think that she watched Jessica Jones from Netflix, before she did this role, because this is exactly what Jessica Jones did in every single episode. Every single episode, she just sounds like, why am I here? And it's like, yeah, it's just like, all right, well, I guess what you're saying makes sense, but I don't really need any help. And Paul's like, man, whatever. Paul go get Aaron anyway. I'm like, my man. But yeah, like him dying the way he did was disrespectful. Okay, I mean, it was the utmost disrespect. Your boy is in there doing the hard work, and he just gets gutted by Eric, just lifted off the ground by Eric. I mean, he got like the random person number 2 horror Jason death. He was just like a random guy
because he was immediately like his eyes rolled, like was still open.
He was
eyes rolled back. He was just immediately dead.
Gone.
It was almost an off-screen death, but it's like
it was an off-screen death.
It was horrible.
They didn't even give us like
anybody deserved to get his. That was Varl.
Yeah,
and I would have loved to see him, become a leader.
Yeah,
and instead, it's like they put that kind of quote unquote modern cultural trope into the rich white guy killing a young black man.
Yeah, leaving behind a single black mother.
Yeah,
I mean, in a post-apocalyptic world.
If they were gonna, twist tropes, like leave out the powerful white guy being the main villain, put in the lesbian female. It's like, why can't they flip the script on this and like have Varl get his?
Yeah, that it would have been. I mean, in the fact that that me and Drew was talking about this offline. And it was like, Zoe is my favorite character in this game. I thought that she was the most. I was like, give her own video game. Just the stuff that she taught. Like the fact that she went from being like on the council, being denied on the council, seeing her people getting killed, and like literally doing night raids to protect her people. I was like, yo, she is a savage. So she was trained. She's like training with the Tanakh. I was like, but they hate your people though. How in the world you go to train with the Tanakh? She figured out a way to get trained with the Tanakh and then did night raids with them. And I was like, I would love to play that game. Her story was far more impactful and like interesting than Aloy's story. Aloy was just like, I just have to go over here to the Forbidden West. So I was like, yeah, I'm a grave singer. But what's a grave singer? Oh, we sing to the dead. Oh, huh. Speaking of that, they even let Zoe sing for her dead man. He died and there were rocks.
Like there was no real funeral. You just
they honored that plow horn that more than they did Varl.
God dang, man! See, I ain't even think about that.
Oh, they honored a robot dinosaur more than they honored the person who the most important character in the game was Varl. Wildin'. And then on top of that, and then they had the nerve. They had the nerve. Because then Katalo, when you start talking to the teammates about how everybody's dealing with Varl's death, Katalo will tell you, it's like, look, Varl was a legend.
Yep.
He said if he had been Tanakh, he would have had full rights and honors, and he would have been buried, in our best cemetery plots. It would have been we would have embalmed him. It would have been a whole thing. There would have been a parade, like all that stuff. He said Varl was a legend. And then Varl got rocks.
He got rocks. It's a stack of rocks outside on the side of a mountaintop.
Well, he got the seeds too.
Oh, he got the seed powder. That's and a moment of silence. And I was
a moment of silence, and then off to the Sunwings.
I mean, it would have been nice to see, like at least in the end, the post game, to to have his body be in the whatever carried to Benora, the mother.
His mom's the leader. So it's like she's probably like, where's my boy? Like literally, like she's already lost the girl. So it's like, where's my boy? So her tribe is left leaderless.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk about that. They just we just gonna kill Varl. For what?
It added nothing.
Kill the diviner girl. Okay. Take her out, okay? I was telling Drew offline, Tim, they were too busy setting up this sexual tension between her and Aloy to realize that her character was trash. they kept just throwing mixed signals between the two. I'm like, what the world's going on right now?
But then she's taken, like she's already got a partner, so she don't need Aloy. And so Aloy did that. Aloy did that awkward. Well,
Oh well.
So like, hey, she's got the best. It sounded disappointing. You know how like when you're trying to be a good sport, but you're really disappointed. But you disappointed for real. That's what it sounded like.
It was very odd, man. I was like, this girl's throwing mixed signals to me. I was like, this is weird, yo. I mean, so I'm like, that was like the whole time. It just felt like Vol, when they had him chase her in the beginning, I was getting angry. I said, Vol, you better not be in love with this girl. Do not be in love with this girl. Just be the homie. The whole time I was like, just be the homie. Just be the homie. And then he turned out to be the homie. I'm like, great. He's a homie. Him and Zoe knocked it off, like kicked it off. That's one of my favorite pictures of like them kissing in the cover, flying in the sunset. I was like, that's dope. Let me go ahead and pause the screen and get that picture of Vol and Zoe. Come to find out, that's the last picture. It's the last picture, really, with her man.
Well, it's important because you don't get those images in video games, right? That black couple that stays together.
It's not really uncommon, unfortunately. But yeah, like it really got me. I was like, Vol did not deserve to die gutted like a fish. And normally in games like this, where he was stabbed at in a sense, like they would have like drug it out a little bit, found a way to get Eric away or something like that. And then you finally at least let Vol say some last meaningful words or something.
Nope.
We got
like half a second and then back to Aloy.
Yeah, pretty much. He's dead. All right, well, what are we doing now? Well, we gotta get out of here. Like,
they didn't show the recovery of his body. Nothing like.
I don't even think I really don't think they recovered his body.
And it didn't. His death also didn't. It did not meaningfully galvanize the team.
It didn't.
Like his death actually served zero purpose. It didn't change. It didn't change the trajectory of the plot. Like it was just really poor writing on that part. There was a mismanagement of how the characters were. Like all jokes and attempts at pandering at the community. Like I felt like I feel like I hope that somebody felt seen, like the folks from the LGBT community. I hope that they felt seen by the variety of characters that were in there. Mm-hmm. I really do for what they try to do. I hope they felt seen, but it's like, man, I felt like they did them dirty.
Yeah,
because then you got the main antagonist as a rapist who's been plotting her. She actually created another clone, not to save the planet, or not even to get them supplies.
She wanted Elizabeth so bad.
She wanted a compliant
and was disappointed in the defect.
She wanted a compliant yet brilliant Elizabeth so bad.
Man, I didn't even think about it like that, yo. This chick was the villain. Okay, I take my words back. She wanted both compliant and brilliant. And
no, she didn't want compliant because Beta was pretty compliant.
Oh, that's
she wasn't
manipulated. I think that she wanted some of that Elizabeth's spunkiness, hard to get. I don't need anybody in this world. That's why she was so attracted to Aloy, because Aloy had that kind of the zestiness about her.
Zesty is just a word. I just wasn't ready for it.
That's great.
The best word for this situation.
That's great.
That's the best word for the situation. It's like because when she was sitting at that table with Aloy, and she was like, "Who would ever thought that I'd have found you in the woods?" I was like,
"Huh?" Yeah. And
I was like, "What?"
The worst thing about the thing that makes me the angriest about Tilda, about that character, was she meant for Varl to get killed.
Yes,
because she lied and said that I couldn't make my move in time in order to save you. But you saw the way she handled Homeboy at the end.
She murked himself.
Like it wasn't even close. He didn't see it coming, and it wasn't close.
Yep.
She handled it. That meant she could have did something all along. That kind of thing.
Well, I guess she probably needed their shields to be brought down for him.
I really think she wanted Aloy's character to be disinclined to stay by trying to untether some relationships.
Yeah,
perhaps.
So
she spent some time in the base with them, and so being her manipulative self, she probably figured out who
to knock off. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm mixing up my storyline. She came in later.
Yeah, that's right. She came after Varl.
But she did say she was spying on them because
like she was in the base.
She did have Aloy's old focus.
Old focus.
And so she was able to see all the relationships she built up through the focus. So I think she had her plans.
So yeah, so it's just like they meant to kill. Like killing Varl wasn't like they didn't write themselves into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
They meant to kill Varl off, and they meant to kill him off in such a way to where, like, because he was really the most valuable character in the game. But then his death didn't galvanize anything. It didn't give anybody any superpowers. Nobody went Super Saiyan, like nothing.
Well, he galvanized the team beforehand.
Exactly. So his death did nothing. It was a net loss. So like that. And then I guess does anybody have it before we start talking about the reason why the episode is called what it is?
Okay, so before we
a little bit, like just a bit about Aloy. I think part of her character that I really dislike is her like self-righteousness.
Yes,
right. You carried through like the Zero Dawn, and now in this game, and particularly like in her relationship with the homie Nil.
Yes.
Yeah, they brought Nil back, my favorite character from Zero Dawn. But it's like she has a self-righteous way about like, I killed a bunch of people, but you know that meme with what's his name? He's like, I live for this, you live for this. We are not the same kind of thing.
Oh yeah. yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
right?
Exactly.
And so it's kind of like her personality there. It's like, we murdered a ton of people, but we're not the same.
But we're not the same people. We did it for the right reason. It's like, what is the right reason?
And despite like, I think Silence is an excellently done character, excellently developed. I mean, he sees right through that, right, in Aloy. That's why he's, it's so easy for him to manipulate her parts of that character.
So let me ask you a question, Tim. Did you feel some weird tension between Silence and Aloy? How much she just really, really disliked Silence. I get a part of that, but it was a little bit more.
It was more pronounced.
Yeah, like I was like, you acting like, I said, did y'all do? What's going on? Like, literally, I was like, what's happening right now? Like once again, it's like mixed signals in a relationship in this game.
The saying, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned."
But where's the scorn? I mean, like so.
Well, like I think just because I think Aloy thought that they were like becoming partners, right? But in the end, he was giving her all the intel, all the info, and then he just drops off the map, right? And then she's running around the world for 6 months, according to her. She doesn't know what to do. She can't find anything. And she's realizing like, well, this guy manipulated me, and then I can't do nothing on my own. And she doesn't pick up the trail until she silences gives her another clue. And so for her, she's like, she hates the fact that she's helpless without Silence, even though he's manipulating her. That's my 2 cents.
I like that take a lot. That's
you just enlightened me. Once you said, I was like, oh my God, he's right. It was a fact that her self-righteousness was called to question. And Silence, that dude is quintessential villain, okay? And I love his voice, like just the stuffiness of his voice. Just a stuffy Aloy. I love his voice, man.
He makes her first name sound, her only name makes her name sound like a curse word.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being Aloy and then like not hearing from this guy in 6 months, and he just starts up back off like nothing ever happened?
I would have been going from good sleep to bad sleep. He just reappeared.
What really made me laugh is like like you're saying, like she's not that smart. So it's like she's not Elizabeth Sobek. That dude's Elizabeth Sobek. Silence made the weapon to knock the shields down. So Farseeing have these impenetrable shields, quote unquote.
He claimed proprietary copyright on that. He patented that thing.
He really did.
So how does it work? That's for me to know.
That's for me to know. You will never figure it out because you ain't smart to be. You know what I'm saying? So then he made the shield disruptor. He also figured out he tortured Hades like that. Just think about that.
That you can torture.
He's like the conscienceless scientist who who thinks he's doing the right thing. Aloy, I mean, she's a warrior. She's a huntress. She's but for some reason she has that pride, thinking that she can do it all on her own.
Well, yeah, I think in the first game, if you remove silence, Aloy would not have made it past her own place. and I think that was probably what was burning her, was that like, this dude literally made me, but yet he doesn't want me. He doesn't want anything to do with me. He doesn't even acknowledge her presence. Like, oh, you're late again, Aloy. It's just the...
Yeah, it bothers her that she's not the protagonist. Like she's a tool in the Silence tool belt.
It is for all of her self-righteousness too, because let's keep it a buck. I wouldn't say that Silence is immoral. I would say that he's amoral.
He's amoral.
He's completely amoral. But she clings to a notion of morality, but she kills people. Lots of people.
She's probably killed more people than Silence. I mean, it's like Silence was that dude. He was like, all right, look, I'll pay you money. Which in this game is tech. He's like, I'll pay you money so that you can kind of smoke screen these people so I can just keep working. And that's when he got like the what's the lady? The
Regala.
Regala. Yeah, he got Regala and the rest of those guys, the Sons Prometheus situation going, and he was just left to like study and get everything together. And he had a crew of people that did experiments. Dude was efficient. Okay. I was like, I find him. Can you imagine a game around Silence?
Like, I want to know what those.
I think it'd be boring.
You think it would be boring?
He'd be in the lab.
Man, he wasn't always in the lab.
I want to know how he got those implants. Honestly,
same. And survive that.
And what do they mean? What did they mean?
Like how did he survive that? You know what I'm saying? Like in their particular, like they ain't no antibacterial ingredient.
That's true. There's no penicillin in that world.
There's no penicillin. There's none of that. He's just, I'm just gonna wrap these LED LED lights in my
well, that was a thing in the Banuk with the Banuk.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
A lot of them did that.
I want to know how they did it. I mean,
in the frozen wilds, bacteria doesn't infect you past a certain, like it dies after a certain temperature.
That's true. It's just like, I still want to know how you did it, and like they don't. Have you also, just as something that Trevor pointed out offline as well, that's kind of it hurts my dinosaur hunting feelings, but like these dinosaurs are made of really hard materials, and the fact that you can throw a spear and penetrate, the fact that a human being can it's like trying to throw. These creatures are armored, so it's like you thinking that you're
triple armor.
Yeah,
in Apex situation,
yeah. Like these guys are made of the same tanks that the Pharaoh machines that killed the world, kind of thing like that. So that makes you think that you can take like an Olympic javelin and then throw it to the side of a Humvee. Like that's not happening. Like you would have to have an arm the size of a boulder to muster the strength. And then you telling me that a 19-year-old girl with freckles has the arm strength, even with rocket propellant, to throw a spear to the side of a tank that has artificial intelligence and is in the shape of a dinosaur, and that also that she's the best at it on the planet.
On the real, I'm still confused. I mean, like I divorced myself from the reality of that in the first game, but.
Yeah, you have to go some.
But this game was because she was being so self-righteous in this game, it just started to flare up. I'm like, okay, so what is this bowstring made of? If it can if I can pull back and it go through a robot dinosaur or burrower, and I'm using an arrow tip made from the same material as they are made in, what power do I need to make this? I mean, this is like a Mythbusters episode.
like to be able to draw that bowstring back far enough to do that kind of damage, she would have had to have been as strong as Hulk Marrow from Metal Gear Solid 4. Like her trap.
I think you're going off the story a little bit.
Yeah, I am.
But she would have had to have been a Quincy.
Suspend some disbelief.
Should have had to have been a Quincy from Bleach to pull this off. But yeah, but back to
talking about like another aspect of her like self-righteousness is, it's like this mentality, like this Western liberal mentality, not in so like we're gonna fix our society like she was trying to do with the Nora, but then all those like kind of religious aspects and rules, when it gets to the Tanakh, like a blood worshiping, violent culture, then that it's honorable and okay in their culture. And it just grinds my gears because you have all these anthropologists going to other societies and they criticize missionaries for trying to change tribes in Africa or in Papua New Guinea from being cannibalistic and all that. And it's like, what? It's the same mentality. It's like, no, I want my culture my way, but it's important for their culture to remain the same, to retain their uniqueness, etc. And it's just like, it's evident, because she was fighting the elders in her Nora tribe about certain things, but then when she goes to the Tanakh, now it's like, I want to honor all their sacraments and stuff.
And it doesn't seem like it's coming from a place of growth either, because she kind of like for the practices that she disagrees with, or like when people will make a religious overture towards what they think her importance is in the world, and she just kind of like, oh, it's not that, but science.
Yeah, she's like, she goes against the singers, I forget, the Utaro. It's like, yeah, their practices are bad, but not the Tanakh. And part of me, it's like when she's like going back to Nil, when she's fighting Nil's bloodlust and saying mine is different, just the ease with which she accepts Tanakh's different practices and fighting machines and fighting each other. It's like, I'm like, you're a bloodthirsty warrior.
Same as Nil.
Get off the high horse there.
Yep.
Get off the, what do you call it, the strider.
She's like a colonizer that doesn't realize she's a colonizer.
Yep. No, she's the best colonizer. She's the best of them. Like there was a show on I think it was HBO, made after Bruce Lee's one of his last visions, or like one of the things he wanted to do on TV. It's called The Warrior. And there's this lady that's married to the mayor that reminds me a lot of Aloy. Like she came in with this idealistic view of how everybody was supposed to pretty much like worship the ground she walked on, and that she wasn't supposed to get hurt. And if she did get hurt, it was because it was everybody else's fault, stuff like that. And all of a sudden we get to a later season and all the bad stuff starts to happen, and she begins to unravel because there wasn't as much of her fantasy that was actually true. I think when Silence left, the scar was so deep because it showed to her that she wasn't really that special. But she has to be capital S special for the rest of the game. So she has to prove that she's capital S special for the rest of the game by like, well, I'm Elizabeth Sobek's greatest creator. Like they throw in Beta. And then like she's like, oh, I have a clone, so
competition.
Competition, so she was probably going to kill this girl. Let's just keep it a buck real quick until she realized that like she was kind of in a weird situation herself. And like I said, then she has to talk herself down. Like I said, that part just really, that part bothered me about this game. I was like, so you can only talk to yourself in this game. So that's my sister. That's not your sister. That's yourself. Stop lying to yourself. This is yourself. Literally, you're talking to yourself. So like I said, like that part, just it doesn't fit very well into the narrative of her like actually opening up to other people. She only opened up to herself. I was like, so you just love yourself. Gotcha.
And then I think there were also themes of like how folks handle grief. and how they handle trauma and stuff like that. Because she's 19 at this point, maybe 20.
Yeah.
And she's super traumatized. She was homeschooled, she was isolated, ostracized, shunned by the
mother.
Yeah.
Yep. And then her dad, gives his life for her without a lot of significant closure, just sort of being thrust into adulthood. And then they meaninglessly killed, who effectively was her best friend, Marl, the homie that just. And she just kept stuffing it. And then in the last 20 minutes of the game, she's actually having some self-therapy sessions. But it's almost like Beta sort of was the manifestation of all of Aloy's stuffed trauma and depression that she refused to work through, that all of her friends tried to come around her and try to help her work through that stuff, but she just kept refusing to. And so it's sort of like what you said. It's like talking to Beta was sort of like that was her therapy. That was her. She got to argue with Beta. She got to curse Beta out. She got to talk about how inadequate Beta was when it was really her own inadequacies her own inadequacies that she was facing when she saw Beta. And then only when Beta was able to get over a little bit of that did Aloy begin to feel better about herself, but not through any of is basically she was looking within herself to find the resources that she needed in order to be the person that she wanted to be, as opposed to all the people that actually love her and have sacrificed for her. And like Varl pulled her out of the river, and she had a completely shattered rib cage. Zoe nursed her back to health with, like these people really cared for her. They really believed in her cause. Like Aaron, he's been down from the cause from the beginning. Like Aaron,
I felt bad for Aaron, man. Like he just felt wasted in this game. He was in an uneven friendship there. That wasn't. She didn't deserve a friend like Aaron, honestly. Tim, did you play Mass Effect at all?
No.
Okay,
it's on the list, but
so I'm not going to spoil the story, but just the construction of how they deal with characters. So in Mass Effect, it's a 2006. So that's that's 16 years. 16 years ago, Mass Effect had 8 to 9 characters that you could literally converse with. All the conversations had links. All the conversations had meaning, and they all rewarded you. Every single conversation. It's so dope. The further you go along, depending on how well you play, if you have characters later on, those conversations that you had in the first game reflect in the third game. It can travel through the second and go to the third, right? It's my favorite game. And this is a Mass Effect Shepard effect game. Yes. Because this is the Reapers are coming. Okay. And this situation, we're in game 2 of the Reapers are coming. Same situation as Mass Effect. And she has the same syndromes that Shepard had in the game, but Shepard did it better because he understood that he needed help. And it was about him finding ways to connect the people to him so that he could have their loyalty. It wasn't about them trying to win hers. It was about him trying to win theirs. So that was my issue with this game. It feels like a modern day Marvel DC comic book situation that I have a whole lot of vitriol for, which it is the hero has to always be reminded that they're phenomenal. You're great. You're excellent. We all love you. It's like every other second is just self-validation. But then there's no sacrifice from the leader or from that particular hero to go out and reach the other people that are working around them. So like Mass Effect, literally to my opinion, did it perfectly. There's not a game I played that has done relationships better than Mass Effect.
I would even say even queer relationships. Even
every relationship you can consider.
And none of them from, I'm also not, I'm not a part of the queer community, so I can't speak on whether or not the queer community felt if they felt that relationships were tokenized. But I felt like all the characters that were in Mass Effect, even the ones that were asexual or the ones that were bisexual or homosexual or what have you, none of those, every character didn't seem like they were thrown in as a token or throwing a bone to them. Everyone had even the stupid, ridiculous side characters that you would encounter, like at the station or whatever. If depending on the decisions that you made, you could still your encounters with them even would carry all the way through the game. So even if there was a queer character that fit that description, who they were and their identity actually added something to the story and and continued all the way through an entire franchise. And so, and quite frankly, Horizon Zero Dawn would have never happened, at least not in the way that it has, if Mass Effect didn't exist. And so it's one of those things where I wished it. The complaints that I heard, especially as it came to like minorities and queer in the queer community with Mass Effect, is that they just wish there were more minority characters that had prominent roles, and they wish that there were more queer characters with more queer options. And
they got that in Dragon
language, bro. My Christian ears are wilty.
Yeah, I'm trying to. And so, but like Zero Dawn, the Forbidden West, I feel like they didn't take that level of diversity approach to it. It felt like it felt really pandery. It felt like he was throwing stuff in just for no reason.
I'm sitting thinking like how many times? I think there's like 2 or 3 times where you actually had to make a conscious decision. You know, where you had the hate, whatever.
The heart and all that other stuff like that.
The heart, like in Zero Dawn, they use that a lot more. I felt like, granted, the consequences of those decisions didn't work themselves out as evidently as they did in Forbidden West, but it's like there's only 3 times where that actually came into play, and I'm wondering how much deeper the game would have been if you had a lot more of those choices. Even in say in all your relationships with your friends, right? And I would have loved to see more of, instead of her friends waiting to be called by Aloy, to like purposefully show up when when Aloy, either through the focus or be like, we're gonna come regardless of whether you want us or not. Yeah. Especially if she's got to get parts for some machine, right? That would, like with Katalo, he's like, I need to fight this machine. Let's go, right?
So friendships were weird. Friendships were weird.
They
her friends were always on standby. It's like, you guys hang around here until I need you.
That's why we call it the power of friendship, because all these people are on speed dial for just the most random parts of the story. It's like, when you think that you would need them the most, they're not there. But then, we got to go put this generator in this place on the other side, and then you got to go over here and do this thing, and the homie died.
Yeah, the one time we go outside together, the homie dies.
The homie dies.
It's like what a bad
Aaron, I need you to carry something for me because
they did him so dirty.
They pretty much, he's the dwarf. He's the dwarf of the group. Now, he is though. I mean, like all the customs of the Asurum, whatever name. Like they are dwarves. If you want to go by power systems and stuff like that and rankings, Aloy is pretty much like an elf. Let's just keep it in a buck. She's a wood elf. Okay.
She's the Orlando Bloom of that world.
Yeah, pretty much. She's Legolas. My bad. She's
Legolas talked a lot less.
She's a fake one. What's the chick name? Evangeline Lily. Got added to the Hobbit. She's that girl, Tauriel. Yeah, she's Tauriel. So I was like, okay, yeah, but they just did. Poor Aaron was just a mule. Well, you're awesome. Just carry this everything. He's like, wow, he's got to carry every stuff while he's drinking liquor.
That's why he's got a drinking problem.
He got another pain in his shoulders.
And so you have all these haphazardly managed almost entirely by Varl and Zoe relationships and friendships that are put together. So to me, it doesn't make any sense for these friendships to have had the kind of impact that they should have. So we get to the end of the game after Carrie-Anne Moss's, rape overture about trying to take Aloy away into space to avoid a second apocalypse that's about to hit the planet. And then,
we'll get to that in a moment. Yeah.
But at this point, Silence has kept the same energy. He's kept his same energy the entire time, and I respect it.
Absolutely.
And then he's like, well, if we can't save the planet,
leave.
I'm out. And then there's this moment that happens after the final boss is defeated, and they're trying to kind of remember Varl. And everybody just comes around for a group hug on Aloy because she escaped being raped by a 1,000-year-old sea witch.
She gave Aaron the side hug.
Gave
him a church hug.
Had to have the Holy Spirit between. It was horrible. And then Silence saw the friendship happening down there. He saw the group hugs. And instead of abandoning the planet to its fate, its well-deserved fate, he decides, I don't have no friends. I'm going to stick around and see how the apocalypse plays out because of friendship. What?
This is Silence we're talking about, people.
This is Silence.
Silence has literally been like just working his best to find a way to save the world.
He was ready to let all of the Tanakh, be at war and just be decimated.
Yeah. like really just let all them suckers die in a landfill somewhere. He didn't care. And all of a sudden, while he's walking to this spaceship, he looks down and he sees them smiling and he's like, wow, is that what the power of friendship feels like? And just turns around and is like, I'll be in my lab. So I'll be in my lab if you need me. I'm like, wait. No, you're not supposed to turn around. You're supposed to blast off into space or something like that and maybe come back because you can't escape the thing that's coming.
Exactly. He could have left. And see, if you realize it, he was the only human being on Earth, the only one that knew everything that was going to happen.
Yep.
And he had put every contingency plan into effect.
Yep.
And Aloy ruined the contingency plan that could have saved them from the deadly AI that is coming to eradicate the world.
Yep.
That the 1,000-year-old sea witches that ruined the Earth, left the Earth, and then came back to ruin the Earth again, unleashed on everybody. While they're running from the horrible AI cloud in space, Silence is the only human being on Earth that knows that the Earth is about to end, and thanks to Aloy, there's nothing we can do about it because Hephaestus is loose. And then he saw the power of friendship and decided to stay. I want friends. I don't want to admit that I want friends, but she's got friends. So you mean that you're only amoral because no one ever understood you and gave you a hug?
This is Naruto's Pain for me, okay? So Pain has been murdering everybody. And Murder Jiraiya.
Murder Kakashi,
we brought him back to life, whatever. He should have stayed there. I hate Kakashi. So I was like, okay, well, we get to this fight with Pain and Naruto, and he is folding Naruto. And all of a sudden, Naruto pulls the famous line. It hurt, didn't it?
I can relate to that pain too. The experience you had. Were you lonely?
Swing set. Yeah. Him swinging on the swing.
You were. I was lonely
and
too.
Nagato is crying, and I was like,
said,
no. I was like, this can't be right. I was like, this dude literally just destroyed all of Konoha. It's all gone. Like literally, the ash had ash. Okay, the whole place is gone. The ramen shop gone. The Hokage summit place gone. The training center gone. The mountain, everything gone. And I had that same pain. I said I had the same pain too. Pain. I had pain more than you, Pain. When the
blue-eyed blonde war orphan comes in and says, "I'm a war orphan too," he was like, "That's what's wrong with my life. I didn't have friends. I'll bring everybody back to life. Will you be my friend? Since you're my friend, I'll bring everybody back to life and die in my sleep."
What? It was like the Care Bears got together and were able to put the little rainbow of love into Silence.
Yep, that's exactly how this whole thing is. The whole situation just feels
with forced. Our powers combined.
It's like Care Bears there, man. It's like we're seeing this happen across so many other mediums. Yeah, I mean, it's happened across so many other mediums now that it's literally just become a running joke. Just like, the power of friendship. Just you just see it happening. It's like, so you're beating this because
it is also kind of funny because half the game was about relationships, right? Like couples. with all the all the side quests and everybody's, but here it's like group of friends, right? So it's just kind of like, what kind of relationships are we talking about in the game? So yeah.
Another part of the story that really, really grinded my gears. Regala's death. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So Regala could have lived. Okay. I recorded that section because I was like in such disbelief. I was like, there's no way this chick just died. Oh, yeah. So I went back and rewinded it and just timed it, to when the machine started dropping down. And I'm like, okay, Regala literally had like a 10-second window to juke them and go to the right, and she could have lived and the thing would have collapsed on them because they were like trying to shoot her or something. She was like, no, this is the death I was looking for. I'm like, we need you a little bit further along the way. We need you a little bit further along the way, though. I mean, like, you can die there.
If you notice that any of the black characters in that game that had any kind of personal integrity that extended beyond their own self-interest, because Regala, let's keep it a buck. Regala was honorable. She killed a lot of people, but she thought that her chief was leading to the dissolution of their tribe and the weakening of their tribe, and that he was setting aside justice. I'm not saying I agree with her motivations as a character. I'm just saying that she had personal conviction that extended beyond her own self-interest. She was trying to really look out for her people. In the best way she knew how. So any black character in that game that was really looking out for everybody else to the best of their ability, they were like, nah, Varl, nah, we're good. He said, we're either gonna make you a statistic or you out of here. So Zoe's a single mom now. Varl is in a box with no real funeral, and then homegirl got crushed by rocks and robot dinosaurs.
Even though she could have literally escaped, like she had a window to escape. I was like, your window was there, and you could have.
Yeah, we fought her. We know how fast she is.
Yes, she was crazy fast.
She was stupid fast, man. I was like, you could have dashed through the freaking hole, and all the stuff would have just fell on them, and you could have died an arm with Devin.
No, a much better moment. Like, so if you let her live, right, and she joins the fight, it would have been better to see her jump in and fight Eric.
Oh yes,
that would have been kind of
and like her give him a little bit of damage and then die, and then you carry on the fight, and she would have been like, this is it would have made more sense.
Or give him a lot of damage with her skills.
Something, so have her take him down to the point where like you got a few more hits, but just honor her in a way where her sacrifice really did mean something. Because like literally,
have her be spared by Eric, not Varl.
Not Varl.
Like, and you could have had like a little cut scene there where she's, where Aloy has to kind of like catch up or like stop and then go back down and finish Eric off to honor Regala's death or something. But
it was satisfying to see Zoe do the Queen on 300 type, murdering of Eric at the end. That was satisfying, but it did not pay the bill of Varl's unceremonious death.
It didn't. Yeah.
And with all the other tropes, kind of like, so redemption, right? So Aloy spares Regala, right? If you pick that option. But then it's like, but for Zoe, it's okay to have revenge, kind of cold-hearted killer revenge on Regala or Eric.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of this, like, you're weighing, well, in some case, in what cases is redemption okay? And then in what cases is cold-blooded murder revenge? I mean, with all the other story tropes, we know that cold-blooded revenge doesn't satisfy a longing for justice.
That's true.
Right? So why put that in at the last moment and just kind of show Zoe in this cold light?
I think that's because when you like once again rewind the clock back to her original self, she's the Night Rays, bro. I mean, like that. That's what I said. She needs her own game. Like, we need to see that very well. She said she had got done taking out everybody, And then the sun rose and she was there with nobody there. And she realized that people who die alone. And that's when she became a death singer. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it wasn't because she finally got all the revenge that she wanted. She got it all. And she was like, huh. There's a lot of people that died.
Of all characters, she would have understood that the most.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying, like, so I agree with you as far as like it was a little strange that you just always can go out here and just murk this dude. And it's like, it really means nothing. Vol is gone. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was it.
I would definitely say that all this bad writing, all this bad writing that just left you with a fun dinosaur hunting. Because that's pretty much all that this this game had no replay value for me.
None. I mean, I can't even bring myself to play it again.
Like I would never. I can't see myself doing a new game plus. I would just pick up the same save file and just kill some robot dinosaurs. Like it did not. The first game I played through 3 times all the way through.
Same.
And it rewarded the first game. The writing was good enough, even with the self-righteousness of Aloy. That game was rewarding enough, and the story was written better in the first one to reward multiple playthroughs. But with this one, it left me feeling it truly was it's the atheist resurrection. That's what it is. But where there really is no God in that world and in that universe. There's no God whatsoever. So none of it matters. None of Aloy's self-righteousness, her saving the planet doesn't really matter. None of it matters. That kind of thing. It's not just regular atheism. It's nihilistic atheism. It's just horrible.
And on top of that, the thing now that got me is that it contradicts itself on what they want with resurrection. Yeah. You know, like they're like, well, we can do it better because we have the technology to make that work. And then they get it and it botches. The machines botch. The whole world is destroyed. A few people are born again, but yet again, they don't have no information. They're cut off from their source. Then they have to grow up lost. Generations have to grow up lost for millennia.
Boring and doing the same stuff human beings were doing before it all.
Right. Yeah. So now and then you think about Far Zenith, right? So Far Zenith actually got everything that everybody else wanted, right? But in the end, what took them out was their own minds. Are you trying to tell yourself a message? Are you trying to give yourself a clue to the foolishness that you're trying to concoct? I mean, I'm just trying to figure this thing out. I mean,
that's a very astute. There's a lot of very astute observations on the writer's part and pointing things out. Like, we can't do it ourselves, right? As humans. There's always going to be a greater threat. There's always going to be something on the horizon that we can't overcome by ourselves, no matter how hard we try, no matter the tech we have. It's like you said, even if we try to do it all over again, starting with a clean start, we're still going to end up as zealots. We're going to end up as bloodthirsty tribes. Nothing's going to change, right? So the problem is the game, the writing doesn't give us an answer. It just says, this is what we are. And so part of that, I mean, it's like with the ending they have, it's like, well, friendship saved us, but here's a bigger threat. What are we going to do now?
They can die happy.
It comes back to nihilism.
Yeah.
You said humanity is hopeless in itself.
So what was the name of the final boss for the most part? They pretty much introduced for the last one.
Nemesis.
So generic. So Nemesis is literally like the dead Far Zenith folk minds being put into a collective AI that keeps their personalities, their wants, their desires, their intelligence, everything that makes them is a part of this thing, right? And it goes rogue. And it literally is on its way back home. This is the best way to put it. It's on its way back home from the planet that they shipped it to. And it's destroying everything in its path. So it's like pretty much a nigh indestructible version of an AI that's coming to them. So then the question, the thing that begs the question for me then, why we need Gaia? Huh? What Gaia gonna do? What is Gaia gonna do against 1,000 versions of herself wrapped into one with all this consciousness and all this understanding and ideas and stuff like that filled with rage? What Gaia gonna do? Have a conversation? Guys like, I had a conversation with Elizabeth so big. Like, they're like, we don't care. Have as many conversations you want to have in the afterlife.
They're gonna have to get the Mass Effect 3 writers on deck.
Yeah.
To really improve like how character development works, how relationships work in the game, how diversity is not tokenized, whether it's a person that's in the queer community or a person of color. Like, just stop throwing characters in for the sake of throwing characters in. Like, let them actually be super meaningful to the plot. Let your decisions actually have weight and matter.
I'm gonna throw this in real quick as well. There was a article that I read that I was like, wow, that's bad. So out of all the millions of copies that they sold, only 13% of the people have actually finished this game. This is less than a month ago. This is counting the people who bought it before and people playing after Elden Ring. Only 13% of people on PS4 and 5 combined together is 13%. 13% of people actually beat this game. That should be making them tremble in their boots. 2.9% of people actually finished it on the platinum. I was like, wow, that's really, really low.
That is low. I'm wondering why, because for me, the game wasn't so terrible off like don't get me wrong. I have we've already rambled about it for a while, just in terms of like how terrible the story was.
Well, I think it's just like it's impactful because we have so much to talk about it.
But in terms of because the original pitch for Horizon Zero Dawn was that you're going to get to hunt robot dinosaurs in a lush environment. That's what the original pitch was. And so I'm still living off the fumes of the original pitch. We're going to hunt robot dinosaurs in a lush environment, and it's going to be fun. I don't really care if the redhead is trying to save us from, trying to enact the atheist resurrection. That's cool and all. I just really want to ride a tall neck.
It's interesting because you think about Elden Ring's adoption rate. It's a far harder game. It doesn't even have a story. Let's just keep it a book. It doesn't really have a story. Like, no Souls game has an actual story. And people who be like, yeah, does you have to read the Greek? I'm not reading them. I'm not reading additional literature to figure out anything. I need you to just tell me in the story. I don't need to be doing this extra work. I mean, like, why? That's like going to watch the movie and they're like, there's this book that you must buy in the library to understand the movie. I'm like, that's Interstellar, which is one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen. Because when you get to the end, pretty much he's like, the collective consciousness of all things, we don't even understand anything. I'm like, what are you trying to say, bro? It's pretty much the same ending as this. I was like, what are you trying to say? Oh, well, the universe is so big. We knew that already, bro. We don't need you spinning around in a circle in like these multiple angles.
Nolan just wanted to make a black hole.
Yes, pretty much. Yes, that is accurate. It's like he didn't even know where to go from there. He's like,
well, that was the trailer too. Like,
exactly.
It's a pretty black hole. Yeah. Science.
Like, what's going to go in there? We don't know, but we know he has feelings. I'm like, power friendship there too. Well, power family for that one. It was Torino. Torino. Fast and Furious inspired. Like that particular plot of the story.
Horizon, Forbidden West Care Bears.
Oh man, you're so quick with the zingers too.
Hey, it's great.
Everything's ready.
It's right. I mean, like it's like this thing. I need to show y'all this picture.
Killed the black Care Bear.
Yes,
they did kill the black Care Bear.
They killed the main one.
They killed the leader. He was the leader.
You see this picture?
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate to this whole situation. I just wanted to show y'all that before we go. But yeah, this is the article that I was telling y'all about. Like it's sad. I was like, wow, 13% of people, and that's not those are not good numbers. Those are not good numbers. I mean, you got folk that are liberal that don't like this story. They're like, the ending was a mess.
I mean, it was a mess. Like,
yeah.
They just misplaced things. Like even the Sunwing thing, you could have placed that earlier in the game. It wouldn't have hurt you to place that earlier in the game. We
could have got that in Vegas. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So they place all the really rewarding things in the game. They placed at the wrong places in the game. They killed off major characters for no reason. They added creepy people into the thing for no reason. They didn't add any real value to the story. It's like, what are you doing? You kind of bludgeoning the LGBT community by just throwing them in. Like, so let's just make everybody a gay couple just to make them a gay couple. We're not gonna tell you where they're from. We're not gonna tell you what their lives were like. We're not gonna tell you if they have kids. They're just
throw them in there.
But one thing you do know, they're gay. And I was like, come on now. Are you saying that gay people are not three-dimensional people that have backstories and lives and feelings?
Apparently, that's what all entertainment believes. So So, and folk keep paying money for it, so it is what it is. I was like, well, so
I'm no different. I have the game on both PlayStation 1 and 2, PlayStation 4 and 5. So I'm a hypocrite, but I'm just I'm gonna throw that out there.
In that same light, though, it's one of those things that, like, for this game to have been amazing. One reviewer said it best. They said, it felt like Horizon Forbidden West was chasing the shadow of Zero Dawn.
It was. This didn't feel and I said this to both you and Tim offline. Like, this didn't feel like Horizon Zero Dawn 2. It felt like 1.5.
Yeah, that's it feels like it could have been DLC. It feels like it could have been DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. I was like, oh, you know what? We could actually make this into a DLC. Just pop it in and let's just keep moving versus them doing a full-on game because the game itself is shorter than Zero Dawn. Like, if you played it from point A to point B, it's shorter. I was like, it's like 30 hours, maybe a little bit lower than that. I was like, Zero Dawn was like 35, 40 hours, like just a trek to get to places. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, it was to get everything in Zero Dawn. It took me probably 85 to 90 hours, like to really dig into every single thing and get what I needed. But this one, I was tapped out. And like I said, when I hit 70, I was like, it don't even matter anymore. It's just like
same here. It's like I was kind of done before the final mission. I stopped playing for a couple, I think almost a week.
I think I told you the same thing. I said, I gotta put it down because it was. After Fall's death, I was like,
I didn't play it for almost a month. I was playing Ni no Kuni on Switch.
I can't knock you. That's a good choice.
Part of that was just because my kid was hogging the TV. But
that's also fair.
But I had no real incentive to try to get in an hour before work or anything. I had no incentive to try to really try to play it like I was enjoying, because I really wasn't. Apart from fighting a Thunderjaw, I really wasn't enjoying it the same way that I did the first thing. And then they're gonna have a power scaling issue on the next one because so the reason that she has to, like, the reason that her armor doesn't work, and the reason that is because she fell off a cliff after being assaulted by some robot dinosaurs, and she lost all her equipment. How are they gonna, with a whole team, how are they gonna build up her powers in whatever the next thing is? Like, because that was really lazy writing for how she didn't have stuff. So they're gonna have a power scaling issue for the next game in terms of how to solve that.
And that was the issue for this one as well, is that there wasn't any power scaling. It was actually easier. It's like I don't have to work to find anything. Here's your weapons. Just go to the store and buy this bow. This bow has the weapons attached to it. And I was like,
you only had to work for certain kinds of ammunition.
Yeah,
but not the weapons themselves.
Yeah, I could have swore that the last game I had to get the parts to actually build this on the field, on the fly.
Yep.
Right. And it made it more meaningful, especially the echo shells. I love the echo. And they only gave 3 of them on a weapon. I was like, you people are trash. they knew folk were overusing that. I was just be knocking parts off of stuff. And they're like, we only gonna give you 3 of those. I'm like, that's it. This is the best arrow in this game. Like literally for me at least, this is the best arrow in this game. And they're like, they nerfed it. They're like, you can only have 3. Yeah, like, but it's stuff like that I just thought was like super duper lazy. Like even like the corruptor, situation, like where, that was a Hades protocol in Zero Dawn, but they didn't really address it in this game. It was like it was kind of still happening. So it was like it's still out here, but for some reason y'all don't talk about it. What's going on? So there were parts of this game. Oh yeah, the last thing I'll throw in is I said it offline, but just to make a point plain. So there's this point where Aloy and what's your boy name? He's Tanakh, wasn't it?
Katalo.
Katalo, thank you. They go to the bulwark, and there's this tall wall, that keeps everybody safe. And they get inside the wall. And the people there are very arrogant. Yes, they are. I mean, it's fine. Very arrogant people. They feel safe behind the wall. Some people are very complacent because they're behind the wall. So Aloy's bright idea is not to like try and change leadership inside the walls. It's to blow up the wall. Just blow it up. So she finds this.
That was a
to find this
point.
Yeah, like it's like find this exposed part to the wall. And she literally guns it down and it blows up the entire bulwark wall. Now I'm sitting here thinking to myself, they're exposed. There are things in these woods, in the frozen woods, that I had some of the most difficult time killing. And you're telling me that you just blew up the wall that protected the people from actually being protected by this stuff. And she gets back up there and they're like, thank you so much, Aloy, for enlightening us. And I'm like, she just killed y'all.
And she's the best fighter, and she's the best fighter in that world.
Yeah.
And she has trouble with those things in those woods, and she's gonna let them loose on villagers.
She said,
especially like she's trying to save the Tanakh, right, from going to war, Silent Zor. But how does that play into the strategies? It's like if you think about, they got Stormbirds and Frostclaws and Scorchers there. It's like a matter of time before the whole tribe gets wiped out.
I mean, for real. I mean, all it would take is a few of them, and they can just walk up the wall. Now she made them a walkway, for blowing up the wall. So there was stuff like that. I was like, this is very bad writing. Now, like, what would have been dope if they went like the kind of Two Towers way, where they had to defend the wall. Oh, I would have loved that. If you had to be inside of the wall, and you inspired the people while you were fighting for them. Nope. Yeah. They just give you a rocket launcher.
Or she had been able to, that particular tribe, their leader, if she had been able to goad him into you go down to the arena and bloody his nose a little bit, then hog time and take him to the cool route.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you're gonna kill the whole village just to make this man go to the cool route. That seems like
it really didn't make much. That to me sums up this whole game. Like this, there was a wall that was protection. And it held the whole city together. There was one minor flaw on the side of this wall, and for some reason, this game blew that wall up using that whole minor flaw. No, this is our minor flaw. Boom! And blew up the wall, and the wall crumbled, and it exposed itself. And now we're sitting here like, oh, you're one of those stories. The power of friendship wins it all again.
And turn down the patriarchy.
And then turn down the patriarchy. And apparently mixed signals is the best friendship relationship information you're ever going to get, because like every single person on this squad gave out mixed signals. Except for Val and Zoe. So Val and Zoe probably really is on a crew.
Did Katalo give out mixed signals? Katalo seemed like he kept the same.
Well, I get it. Katalo too. Katalo, he kept it at 100. Like
Katalo was the Chiefs fanboy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did like kind of overlook some stuff with the Chief, but how am I going to go back with this one arm? I don't think I'll be able to retain my honor. I just found out that there is a way for me to build an arm. I don't like this arm. I only use it when I go out to see. And I'm like, Tyler, I almost died getting you to pass this. Why are you not wearing it all the time? It feels strange, Tyler. You're in the jungle, and we just made you a robot fighting arm. Why are you not wearing this all the time? What is wrong with you? Like, it's a dope arm. Keep it on. I'll just put it on my back for right now. I'm like, God dang it. So I was like, that's like no shade. I like Talo's like carrot, but that just really.
Well, I'm glad he didn't completely destroy, because I thought he'd be like, well, this isn't a part of me. Just crushes it. Just
crushes it. Yeah, like, I had that same feeling, man. Like I was getting them vibes from him because he seemed like the type of savage. He was like you know what? I'm
exactly
better without it. Crash.
Like you said, these things just coalesced, and before the last mission is like, I'm kind of done.
I just beat it because I knew I had to. I was like, I just need to just finish this game to see what the ending is. And I was even more disappointed when I beat the game.
The side missions were worthless too, like the black box mission.
I gave up on the black box missions and then just went back at the end and just rushed it through. And it's worth nothing. It is
I think that's part of the problem with the Forbidden West. It just doesn't give you a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
Right. The ending, the whole story is so convoluted, so many plot twists, I guess you could say. It's like, well, if Hephaestus is he the main bad guy or is he not? And, okay, he is. But then he is and then he's not. And I can see why they left him in, because he's gonna,
he's gonna come back.
You need bigger baddies to fight in the next game to keep the thing interesting. But it's like I would have been happy and satisfied if Gaia was put together and we saw like her starting to change the world back up in the post game.
Yes.
Yep.
Seeing Varl's happy family and like being able to visit him and stuff like that.
Yo, look, man. See Tim over here getting me all messed up again.
Man,
it's like
they did him so foul, man. Good.
And the DLC or whatever, Ella could have just been going to, she could have visited Alva's home country, try to do a little politic and helping them with their machines. It's like you could have built a nice story. You didn't need to put in all these kind of, I guess, almost supernatural. You got to fight Nemesis now. There's other things you could do in this world where you don't have to make it so fantastical and.
Because honestly, fixing the world is a big enough problem than having to deal with a AI ghoul from space. Really? Huh?
When they show the little holographic picture of it, I literally audibly just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
It felt like somebody drew that on the napkin in the bar. It's like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
this is where we're taking the story, and they just literally
all it was like
iPhone photo of it and put it in the game.
Like
somebody went into.
That's exactly. Have you ever heard of this? Is something that that me and Trevor used to talk about all the time. It was like don't you do it. Danny Phantom was like, hey, let's have a boy that becomes a ghost that's a superhero. That's like a weed smoking, like they're just all in the same cloud of weed coming up. It's like this is it. This is what we're gonna do. That's
exactly it.
That's how it felt. Like what you just described as that same kind of thing. It's like, we're drunk anyway. Let's do it.
I feel like somebody had a bender and was in front of Adobe After Effects and just took like a pentagon. And along with a circle and just kept manipulating it over and over again and made a sequence. And they're like, here's Nemesis. This is the Nemesis that we were looking for. And it was like,
well, it wasn't even that well edited. Like I have basic skills in After Effects and I could have done better.
Yeah, I was like, so it's just a swirl. It's like one skull is just swirling in a circle.
The swirls didn't even line up.
Yeah, it was bad. I was like, so this is supposed to be the big bad. When the Reapers drop down in Mass Effect, I'm just gonna go ahead and warn you, Tim. When you meet that first Reaper, be in a dark room. I'm telling you, the sense of dread, bro. I was like,
up, headphones on.
Yeah, first time you meet the Reaper, you're like, whoa. Like just hearing it speak, you're like, oh, this sucker is a threat.
Like, right. This is an end of the world that I can get with.
Yeah, and this is, it's like you really, really know that if you get 5 of these things, the whole world is dead. And they're sending 50,000. They're like, yeah, no. You're going to be crushed by the Reapers, right? And I got this cluster of skulls. It's laughable. It's like we've seen better villains in Disney movies.
I've gotten more pleasure out of toys from cereal boxes than I got out of Nemesis. Like, are you kidding?
His name is Nemesis.
There's already been a legendary Nemesis in video game history from Resident Evil.
Yeah, so it's a little strange to me to see them. Oh well, his name is Nemesis. I'm like, so you guys' name is Farzina, and the best name you could come up with is Nemesis. Okay, we'll work with it. I'm like, we'll work with it. Okay, so what is Nemesis? Oh, he's just a bunch of our minds we threw into an AI.
He's a badly drawn cloud of artificial intelligence.
He's Dropbox with
I want to know how it's propelling itself through space.
Yo!
Does it have its own spaceship? Is it just kind of swimming?
He's traveling at the speed of light or more in order to travel.
Wait.
Yo, Tim's right. How is it getting through space?
Wait.
All right, guys, you should wrap it up because it's past my bedtime.
You did this. You did this. You can't just jump out of this now. Okay. How do they do this? Is the spinning what makes them propel through space, or do they have like actual thrusters? It's like, who made this? Rate this game, and we're done. This is what is your rating? 1 to 10. What is your rating?
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
7.
You said 7. Okay.
7. It's all about robot dinosaurs. The rest is a wash.
Yeah, same here. I'd say 7. 7 out of 10.
All right, so I think I sided with 7 as well. But the more that we talk about, I didn't even think about the propeller joint for Nemesis. I'm gonna have to drop it down to a 6 now. I'm gonna drop it down to a 6. I had that 7. I was like,
the only thing that would have made it better if some of the collectibles were Care Bears hidden down.
I bet you if they sold that as merch, it would sell.
It would sell. It would sell instantly. But Lord have mercy.
Yo, thanks for having us on, man. This was really fun.
I'm glad you guys jumped on, man. I'm now you messed me up, Tim. I need to go back and watch that clip again to be sure that I didn't see any thrusters. I'm like, how are you moving through the vacuum of space, chasing a spaceship
that's moving faster than the speed of light? This is what good friends are for. They point out your blind spots.
I'm like flat out flabbergasted now. I'm like, I don't. How is this?
So the other observation is: have you guys noticed the leader of what's that chain scrape?
Mm-hmm.
Is the same model as the leader in Bulwark?
What?
No.
The face is exactly the same. If you go back.
No. Are you kidding me?
The haircut is different, but the face is exactly the same.
Man, don't do this, bro.
Yo, they that lazy? Oh, no.
Don't do this, Randy. Please don't be right. Please don't be right.
It's like they that lazy? Oh my God.
It is.
It's like Beta and Aloy look less alike than those two.
6 out of 10.
It's a 6 out of 10. Wow.
I love you guys. This was great.
This was excellent. You've now given me a sleepless situation with this Nemesis flying through space. A little less a fist ball at the sky moment for this game. I'm like, how? How are you doing this? He destroyed the planet. How? Thank you guys for joining us. Timothy, it was a pleasure having you on, buddy. And you're always welcome back. We'll be definitely doing more game reviews and stuff like that. You're welcome on if you're interested in it. Ordinary fellow, thank you yet again.
Yep.
For popping up, but I had to literally go through some old videos now of Horizon Forbidden West to verify if Nemesis had propellers and how it could travel at the speed of light and chase something through the universe without having any form of functioning flight gear. But until then,
find those enigmas and don't leave them unsolved.
Solve those enigmas and don't leave them unsolved. And if you sneeze, do the vampire, and please wash your filthy hands.